Right, this draw is taking place any minute now. Let a few people join. Hello, everybody. Welcome along to a very special live stream this Wednesday evening. My name is Martin Sanders, otherwise known as Football Martin, and I'm joined tonight by my good friend Harrison. Make sure you go give him a follow. His Twitter handle is showing up on his screen there to the right-hand side, so make sure you go give him a follow at the original Has. Well worth a follow. Massive Southampton fan like myself. We both travel from the Isle of Wight each week. Right, we're going to cover the Carabao Cup draw, which is taking place any minute now. We're going to follow that as and when it comes in. Everything you need to know about that draw. Then we're going to reflect upon tonight's victory for Southampton down in Cardiff. We're going to look ahead to the final few days of the transfer window and a little glimpse at the weekend against Brentford. I've got a pre-match preview coming up tomorrow where I'll be joined by a Brentford fan as well. So thank you all very much for joining in. 22 of you in the live. Thank you very much. So due to the expansion of the Champions League and the Europa League, 2 bowls are going to be used for the draw tonight. No fixture clashes for the third round dates for European fixtures. 1 bowl will contain teams who reached the Champions League and EL last season. So Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Tottenham and Man United, that will be. Bowl 2 contains the other 26 teams. That means that the European teams cannot face each other in the next round of the Carabao Cup. We will keep you posted as and when they come in. So let's kick off, Harrison. Let's reflect upon tonight's game in Cardiff. It was an absolute goal fest. Some real goals, but some really sloppy goals conceded, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard where to start, and there's so much that went on, and there's so much to look at. There was some real we're starting to see a couple of unearthed gems that might come in that could start challenging for our first team. And I think we're seeing a lot of lack of fitness in the squad. There were so many players that I thought struggled with their fitness. We seemed to get to about 60 minutes, and that's when it felt like Cardiff were at their best. It's difficult, isn't it? That we could pick them apart tonight. There's a lot of players that I think played on a 4 or 5 out of 10. And then there's a couple of other players that played on 8s and 9s and sort of done the job for us. There's a
few players you thought that might just take tonight's game by the scruff of the neck and like, I want to get in the first team. I want to be playing in the first team. And there was a couple that probably didn't take their opportunity tonight. I don't know what you think.
There was definitely a couple that take the opportunity. I think, for example, Adozie. I've lost hope with Adozie. As far as I'm concerned, we need to get him out of the club on a loan, at least. I wouldn't even be unhappy if we sold him. There were so many chances he squandered tonight. The 2 main ones that we think of were the one where he darted down the left and he cut back onto his right foot and spooned it just wide of the post. Classic Adozie. Did anyone think he was going to score? I didn't even get out of my chair. Like, I knew there was no chance of him even putting that away. It felt like he is frustrating. Yeah. The other thing is, on top of that, there was another one where he darts down again the left, and everyone can see the pass across the box, across the goalkeeper, is not on. There's 2 defenders there. It's quite simple. Yeah. The cutback is on. It's so easy for him to do the cutback. Archer's looking for the cutback. It doesn't come to him. Archer's on a hat-trick tonight if that happens, because I genuinely think, he looked a bit sharper tonight. I thought first half he didn't actually look that good. Second half, they started to get the players on who were finding him on that half turn. They were struggling to find him on that half turn in the first half. It was all Amiel on the right or Adozie on the left. And Archer was sort of occupied by the 2 defenders. Once we started to get Dibling involved in that midfield and a couple of those other players, finding Archer on the half turn I thought was a lot better. Good in the Championship, not good enough for the Prem. To be honest, he's not good. Adozie's not good enough for a top Championship side, in my opinion. He's not good enough.
Our friend Mark's in the live as well. We know Mark well. Thank you for joining the live this evening, Mark. Thank you for your comment as well. I know you're.
He's been texting me all night.
He's putting some really good comments in the comments box. He said, Dozy is poor. He can't use his left foot, and his vision is, it is absolutely just not good enough. Plenty of people agreeing with you, Harrison. Ben Towers is in the live as well. Dozy should be loaned out. I suspect we are being linked with some left wingers. This club, there's no doubt we'll be linked with a few in the coming days, Ben. No doubt about it at all. I think absolutely will be. But everyone's saying the same. James Bree is so talk about James Bree's goal as well. As well. There's a good comment about James Bree's goal. When did James Bree have that in his locker? No,
I don't think he does, or he ever will again.
Yeah. Only his
I think
goal.
it's just a wonder strike, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a wonder strike. Alex is back in the live as well. Alex, thank you for joining again. Dozy needs a loan move at Coventry, at Preston North End, where he can star a bit. He needs to get in the gym. The manager needs to give him a good talking to. Well, somebody that doesn't need to get in the gym is Tyler Dibling, Harrison, because he is a man that is jumping the pecking order big time at the moment. You would say he's well above Sam Dozy right now. He looks like a player on the verge of breaking through to the starting 11 for me.
Yeah,
I may be wrong. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, he definitely was one of those unearthed gems that I talked about at the start. He looks like he's got all the qualities to go on and really try and make a claim. Because for me, it's Smallbone's position that he's pushing for. And I think absolutely. Smallbone was a very, very good player last season. We're wondering if he can make that step up to the Premier League. He's looked sort of half decent in some performance. Newcastle, I thought he looked very good. Against Forest, I thought he looked one of his not so good games. Maybe after that poor performance, Tyler Dibling can come in. I mean, maybe for fitness, I think Tyler struggled. He looked poor for fitness after 75 minutes, I would say.
He burnt out, didn't he? He did burn out.
He did. He did burn out, but he had some real moments of quality. The way he drops his shoulder and seems to beat players, and even as you said, that getting in the gym, that physicality. There was times where he had two players on him, and he wasn't scared of the challenge. Being the age he is, he was quite happy to have it rough. He was quite happy to have it on the half turn. He didn't mind how he had to win the ball or keep possession. He found a way, and I thought, he was a real starlet in that midfield tonight.
Yeah, he was really good. I thought it was an outstanding performance. Sam Amio comes in as well. Again, he probably tired as the game went, a bit like Tyler did.
Yeah,
but he scores a beautiful goal, doesn't he? His goal is an absolute beauty, isn't it? First touch, left foot. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
I know you said this in your live stream. I was watching the. I personally think this is the best goal that was scored tonight. Just from
good, wasn't it?
From my point of view, the way I was looking at the game is this is an opportunity to see if our players are understanding Martin's football that he wants to play, Russell Martin's football, and Bree doing a worldie and Cardiff. That some of their goals are really spectacular. I mean, that volley that hit the bar is incredible. But for me, it's hard to describe. It felt, I suppose, if everyone sort of thinks back, not sort of currently, but back to sort of Wenger when Arsenal was sort of playing that sort of football in and around the box where they do these little flick-ons and stuff. It was very that sort of style of football, and it's a style of football that I really enjoy. The sort of the quick one-touch football, the just getting it in the box, couple of passes, and then suddenly there's a player free on the edge of the box that has got a worldie left foot. And has literally sunk it into that left side, right hand side of the goalkeeper's right.
Yeah, he was really, really good. Took his goal really well. Loads of comments coming in. Keep your comments coming in the comments box as well. 54 of you in the live. Thank you all very much for joining. If you're watching on Catch Up as well, give us your thoughts. Get involved in the conversation. Get in the comments box. We want to hear who impressed you tonight, because Zach is in the live and Zach is telling us that Lallana was there like a manager on the pitch. He brings so much experience. Lots of people talking about Lallana. It's like Rachel saying Lallana made some class passes. He is brilliant. Ben is in the chat as well. Lallana is a class act, makes the game look so easy. He does, Harrison. He was outstanding tonight.
Well, it does. It is really easy to look at. Yeah, I thought, he was fabulous tonight. But we have to remember this is a Cardiff team that didn't play for them on the weekend against Swansea. This isn't their first team either. So we need to just, dial our expectations a little bit. I would definitely say they were more organised than us. I'd just say that on tonight we had the better individual quality to sort of push through and get that win. As I said, Lallana came on, sort of saw up the game. You could see him constantly pointing and dictating to the players on the field where they should be playing the ball, and sort of coaching them while on the pitch, sort of getting them through the latter stages of that game.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've got the Carabao Cup draw coming up, guys. If you're tuning in, we will cover that as and when it comes in. I've got a stream, Harrison, running in the background, which is on YouTube, actually, from Sky Sports. I've got that running in the background as well. They're streaming it on YouTube as well. So you could have both streams running, guys. If you're tuning in, watching this live, you could almost do a split screen and listen to us chat about Southampton and watch the Carabao Cup draw be made. Yeah, so what we're saying in the comments chat, Dibling, in my opinion, will be starting over Smallwood in a few months. Different players, I feel. Can't wait to see what he does this season. Very exciting young talent. Yeah, they just need to nurture him and look after him. But yeah, I think that he just needs to be nurtured and looked after. But he's a very, very good player. I'm really impressed with him. Really impressed with him. Adam was superb. Archer's movement was good as well. No, I thought Archer's movement at times was good. I thought he got better as the game went. Cameron Archer, 2 goals for him tonight as well. That will give him so much confidence going into the weekend to get 2 goals. That game was made for him tonight, in my opinion. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought it's a perfect runaround for him. I mean, he's still young. He's a player that a lot of Aston Villa fans had a lot of high hopes for, and he obviously hasn't quite met it there. And he's coming to us, and he's got to find his feet. He's got to try and find some goals. His goal, his second goal, where he drills it across into the bottom left corner. Is that correct? Is that the second goal? It was very sort of. It reminded me of Armstrong's goal in the final of the playoffs. That sort of on the shoulder, breaks through and then plays it down towards the goalkeeper's right-hand side and into the corner. It's that similar sort of run that we see. It's interesting because I was listening to a Brentford fan on the podcast that you were on earlier in the week, the Saints podcast, and he was saying that kind of run is exactly what Brentford hate. So it'd be interesting to see if Archer gets a start. I'd be surprised, considering he's played the whole game, whether he'll feature on the weekend as a starter. He'll probably come off the bench again. But it was definitely a good opportunity to see what he can do. But we have to remember, obviously, it was against a much weakened Cardiff side after their derby on the weekend.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of breaking news that's just been put out by the football club right now. We expected this. We knew it was coming. Southampton confirmed they've agreed the transfer of Charlie Alcaraz to Flamengo. Charlie Alcaraz has gone, worst kept secret ever, but he is on his way out of the football club. I believe they've raised around 15 to 18 million, I think, Harrison, on that. But they're not going to get all that fee at once. From what I read the other day, I think it was going to be dripped fed into them. But Charlie Alcaraz, guys, the club have just tweeted that a short while ago. Also, Harrison, a really good point. I've just seen a tweet from Alfie House, who was in the press room after the game tonight, and they were talking about Armel Bella-Kotchap. Russell Martin left the exit door open for Armel Bella-Kotchap despite his return today as their 6th centre-back. I thought he did great when he came on, said Russell Martin, but hopefully it's shown the world that he's fine, he's fit, and he can play. So it's almost like they've played him tonight just to put him in the shop window, Armel Bella-Kotchap. I'm not convinced we'll see a great deal of him again. Harrison, what's your thoughts on that one?
It's difficult because he obviously wants to leave. But when he came on, he did look better than all the centre-backs on the pitch. He tries too much sometimes. He's overplaying a little bit. There was a couple of times where he lost the ball because he's trying a little dink into the midfield, or he's trying to find that long pass. And he has got the capability of it, but it felt like he was over trying tonight, like he was really trying to show. But anytime they counter-attacked us, he looked quick. He's always had that bit of pace, hasn't he? When they seem to come at us with pace, he didn't seem to get beaten for pace tonight. My only worry is when he had to cover the other defenders once he came on. That's where he struggled, because it did feel like he was trying to make up for other people's mistakes a lot. And you could see he was told to stay back. He didn't really push forward where we're used to him sort of trying to drive the ball into the midfield. If you remember from a couple of years ago, that's what he would do a lot.
He did.
And he's sort of not doing that, obviously, because he got told, they're a threat on the counter. You've got the pace. You need to stay back. So yeah, it was interesting to see him. He has a lot of talent. I mean, we've always known he's had a lot of talent. I mean, when he was playing for us, he broke into the Germany squad. So everyone saw quite a lot of him. He played a couple of games for Germany. It's not like he got dropped. It wasn't just one call-up.
He's a big lad, isn't he? He's a unit of a lad, isn't he?
He is a big lad.
Massive.
It's a shame that obviously, it sounds like to me, Russell and him just don't get on. They hasn't been able to build a relationship with him. And unfortunately, he's going to have to go out the door. I mean, if we can get some money for him, it'll probably be good. Saying that he's the 6th choice, I think that's a really good point from Alex. That's very harsh. He's our best centre-back, but yeah, it would be interesting to see him and Taylor Harwood-Bellis, if Taylor Harwood-Bellis has a better game, unlike he did last weekend. But if he has the game against Newcastle, both of them together, that would be quite an interesting pairing.
Yeah, so here we go. The draw is underway, I believe, because Mike is...
I can see this.
Mike's in there. The coverage that I'm watching on YouTube for the Sky Sports app has just started as well. It's a little bit behind. One of my favourite sports presenters, Mark Chapman, is in the hot seat tonight. I love Mark Chapman, by the way. What a great guy.
Have you seen this?
No. Liverpool v West Ham. I don't know if that's been drawn. I'm like, this must be behind for me slightly.
Man City and Watford, Arsenal versus Bolton. And it's at Arsenal. That's good for Bolton.
Yeah. I'd take Wimbledon at home, says Alex in the comments. That'd be great, wouldn't it? That'd be great. Just don't want to end up playing against the big 6, really, do you, really? That would be quite nice, just to avoid anyone too big. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on the draw. Right, while the draw is going on, we'll talk about all the key fixtures as and when they happen. But one man we do need to talk about tonight, Harrison, was Leslie Ugochukwu. If I pronounced it correctly, he had a very, very good game tonight in midfield. I thought he looked big and strong, and he's great in the tackle. Lovely. He's always looking for a first touch pass. You can see he's been playing with some really good players at Chelsea. But I'm watching his highlights on a X reel at the moment. But he looks really good, didn't he? I was really impressed. Yeah,
first half I was very impressed with him. He did that sort of breaking up the play and been able to move it forward. Another thing that I noticed is he's picking up Russell Martin's system very quickly. He was making those. We watched Flynn Downs do it, where we can see the defenders have the ball, and he's constantly sort of trying to draw either the striker with him or draw a midfielder or an attacker with him to allow them the space to be able to play it around when they're trying to get the press on. And it was very interesting how he did that. So that was one of the points I make. Yeah, he looks like he could do it. Yet again, it's hard to tell against a Cardiff team that, as we've said, isn't their strongest. But he looks hopeful. Let's see him with some more game time. Maybe rest Downs when he starts to look leggy towards the 75th, 70th minute. See if it's a player that we can trust. See if we can get him into our squad.
Yeah, he's going to be good. So the draw is being made: Liverpool, West Ham, Man City versus Watford, Arsenal, Bolton, Man United versus Barnsley, Wycombe versus Aston Villa, Coventry versus Tottenham. Just been drawn: Walsall versus Leicester, and the draw is ongoing. Just waiting for Southampton to come out of the hat. But yeah, no, I was impressed with, as Ben called him, Big Les. Very comfortable box to box, powerful midfielder. He's just a different player for us, and he will give us something different, which is what you need. You need these options, don't you? Right, just coming out the draw now, we've got Blackpool versus Sheffield Wednesday. Brentford take on Leyton Orient at home. A London derby there. They're still coming out. We're just waiting to see the mighty Saints have got. Who'd you fancy, Harrison?
I don't know who's left now.
Preston versus Fulham. That's at Deepdale. So Fulham go to take on Preston North End. Fond memories of going there last season with Gavin Bazunu with that last-second header and equaliser for Southampton.
Yeah.
It was a good moment. Hope he gets better, Gavin. I know he's suffering with that injury. Everton take on Southampton. The Saints will head to Goodison Park in the Cup. That will be a nice little away day, that one. Very, very tempted with that one, Mike. Very tempted. He's in the comments box below. So Southampton head to Goodison Park. Last year at Goodison Park for Everton, and Southampton fans have the opportunity to go there twice this season because we play them there in our final away game, I think. It's actually the final game of the season, isn't it, I think?
But we've got Arsenal at home final game.
Yeah, final game's Arsenal, their final away game. And it's their final game at Goodison against Southampton as well. So Everton is very winnable. I totally agree, Mark, in the chat there. It is an absolutely winnable game, that is for sure. Nice little draw for Southampton. Everton not doing great at the moment. QPR have Crystal Palace, yet another derby. Stoke City take on Fleetwood Town. Charlie Adam heading back to his former club. Brighton take on Wolves in an all-Premier League clash as well. Matt O'Reilly got injured in his debut last night as well. Harrison, for them, he could be out for a couple of weeks by the looks of things as well. Big blow for them, wasn't it? New signing to get injured so early.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? This can happen to anyone. So obviously nobody wishes it to happen. I mean, Brighton managed to get hold of him. He looks a very decent player. He was obviously very sought after by a lot of clubs. And it's a shame that any player can come in and just get injured straight away in their first match. It's not the start anyone would have wanted.
What a tie for AFC Wimbledon. They take on Newcastle at home. So the League Two side will take on Newcastle United at home. That is an absolute beauty for them. Nice little money maker for AFC Wimbledon. Big game, that one. That would definitely be televised, you would think. I think that's it now. Is there anyone else to come out? We're just trying to... if there's any more. I think it might be done now. No, we've got Chelsea Borough. Chelsea Borough. Another great tie for a League Two club as well. That's the beauty of this cup, isn't it? You can get drawn against, as a League Two club to play a Premier League club. It's an absolute, could be a goldmine, can't it, for many clubs, and can be the lifeline. Chelsea Borough. But Saints are heading to Goodison Park. Right, Harrison. Wrapping up tonight's game before we start talking about all the transfer news and everybody's talking about one man. But wrapping up tonight's game, what do you think the biggest takeaways are for Russell Martin? We've seen some good performances, but we have seen some really bad defending, some sloppy play at times, wasn't there?
I think it's evident that yet again a goalkeeper is needed. I thought their second goal that Cardiff scored, I don't know if he's trying to catch it or he's trying to palm it out, but that surely, if it's coming at you at that pace, that's got to be a punch to the outside of the box. He cannot be trying to catch that, because if you do catch it and you spill it like he's done, things like that happen. It's poor goalkeeping again. I mean, I know the first goal is a wonder strike. He doesn't even attempt to go for it though. Completely rooted to the spot. It's frustrating. It is definitely, it's not good enough. We're crying for a goalkeeper, and we've gone and got, by the looks of it, the best of the lot that were out there available, luckily. But we'll talk about that more in a minute. The other points is obviously Dibling, Amayo, and Archer have finally started to find their feet in the squad. I thought Lallana looks like he can do a job for us. He could definitely be a player that sort of comes in for a small bone or a Joe Repo. That sort of player can definitely come in and see up and control that midfield towards the end of the games. If we're trying to see a game out, which is definitely useful in the Premier League. I mean, you go to a lot of places where there's a lot of hostile environments. I mean, Newcastle's a perfect environment. If we go a goal up there, you've got to try and see it out sometimes. So he looks like a player that could be really good for us, which is surprising because we all thought at the start, why on earth are we buying Adam Lallana at this age? But his experience is looking like it's going to be invaluable. It definitely wasn't that game. Another point.
Will prove a lot of people wrong. He will prove a lot of people wrong, Adam Lallana, for me. A lot of people massively doubted the signing. I don't think he plays loads of football, but when he does, he's won Premier Leagues under one of the best managers to grace the Premier League in the last 10 years. Jurgen Klopp. He's played with some of the best players that's played in the Premier League in the last 10 years. So he's full of experience. I still think he'd do an all right job this year. After watching him start, I think It'd be good. Right, let's come on to transfer news, because there is one story on everybody's lips and everybody is talking about this one, because Aaron Ramsdale is set to sign for Southampton in the next 24 hours by the looks of things. It's been tweeted by many in the mainstream media this evening, and it come from the main man, Fabrizio Romano, who tweeted this evening, Arsenal will receive a fee of around £18 million, an initial fee of £18 million for their goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale, plus £1 million if Southampton stay in the Premier League. It's also believed that there are £6 million more in add-ons which are linked to player performance. Ramsdale will travel down to Southampton for a medical on Thursday. He has a house down in Bournemouth, I'm led to believe. And this, for both clubs, is a perfect deal, I'd say. Would you, Harrison? Brilliant for Southampton. Many that I know are not keen on it, but I am very, very happy with this signing.
I mean, anyone who's not keen on it needs to give their head a wobble. I mean, we've seen before in the past, goalkeepers can be make or break. And I feel like this signing has the potential to be that. Us staying up in the Premier League is an absolute must for our football club. We need to try and stay up just financially. We saw the board talking about if we hadn't stayed up, how bad of a situation we would have been in. And going back down again, yes, we'll have to do it all over again and try come back up to keep our club sustainable. For me, Aaron Ramsdale was a must signing at the start. As soon as we saw him in his Hagrid costume at the playoff final, supporting Brooks, his friend, we needed to make that signing, and we have been so lucky with how we have made this signing. He had been linked with loads of clubs. We know that there was discussions going on with Wolves, and somehow the board's incompetence to sign the goalkeeper from Feyenoord, and not incompetence. It was well rumoured that, obviously not rumoured, but he had a track record of injuries. And it's no shock.
Being one of them. Broken wrist being one of them is massive as a goalkeeper. To have a broken wrist, I think it was twice he's done that wrist. I'll tell you what, when I had that conversation with the journalist for Total Saints podcast, I think it was Sunday afternoon I filmed it, and we were chatting. Bilo at the time was saying goodbye to Feyenoord. He was travelling to Southampton, and the journalist was telling me about all these injuries, and he's not played a lot of football. He had a serious calf injury as well, and he'd been really struggling with it. So he struggled to play the sweeper keeper role anyway. So it was, for a young man, he missed a lot of football in the last 2 years. I wasn't surprised when this fell through. Do you kind of feel that like they got him into Southampton? We're doing the medical, and there's almost something went on with Wolverhampton Wanderers. They found out that the Wolves deal collapsed for Aaron Ramsdale, and they thought to themselves, "Hold on a minute, he's our number one target. We're in the interest with with Bilo." Use injury as a little bit of an excuse and get Aaron Ramsdale in. That's just a little bit of a theory from me. Could that be true? I don't know.
I think it's slightly different. I think it's the complete incompetence of our recruitment and our board. If I'm being honest, I mean, they've turned around. I genuinely think they'd gone for Justin Miller, and I don't think they've even gone for him as a number one goalkeeper. If they're aware of these injuries, I think maybe they were. We saw the way Russell Martin was talking about McCarthy. It looked set to a lot of our fans at the start of it. They were going to just go and try and get a third or a second goalkeeper. So I actually don't necessarily think this Justin was even a first goalkeeper option. I think they've been forced to go to Ramsdale because there is literally nothing else on the market that will fit the style of football. And I think that we have been so lucky with the fact that the deal didn't go through for Wolves, and that has fallen on our lap. I think it's really highlighted to me the board's decision making. And there's another couple of players that I thought, why haven't Saints gone for? I mean, Clark we were rumoured to get, who is a fantastic player. And obviously Smodic was another player that we obviously were linked to, and we could have possibly have got. There's been plenty of players that we've been linked to that I thought, just go and get that deal off the line. And instead we spent the whole time apparently going after O'Reilly when we knew he was out of our budget the whole time. So it's a little bit frustrating for me. I think the board have been a little bit incompetent when it's come to signings at times. But then they found some other signings that I think hopefully could be really good. I mean, we're hoping that Archer's going to be good. We're hoping that Diaz is going to be good. But yet again, they're not proven
That was another
players.
one we didn't talk about
Fernandes.
him, actually. Michael made a good point. Matheus Fernandes
Yeah, he did look good
in midfield. He looked really good. His goal was good. Scored early in the game, but he was involved in a lot of play. For his first start, obviously against lower league opposition, I thought he looked quite tidy. But then he looked good when he came on against Forest. I think he adds a little something in midfield for us. But I think that could prove to be some really good business. Right, there's 104 of you tuning in, watching us live now. So thank you all very, very much for tuning in. Really, really appreciate your support. If you haven't liked this live stream, please, please, please do smash a like and subscribe to the Football Martin channel. Loads of great content coming your way, not just this week, but throughout the season. We have a deadline day special, which is coming up this Friday night from 9 p.m. onwards. I'm going to be joined by loads of content creators from up and down the UK, from different football clubs, and we're going to be talking about the transfer window, all the signings as and when they happen. And will Saints still be doing business come Friday? I wouldn't be surprised, because one rumour that was going around, and I've heard it, not just online, this has been texted to me a couple of times now, there's a little bit of talk around James Ward-Prowse. I'm not convinced this one happens. Someone just mentioned it in the comments box below about James Ward-Prowse.
No, Mark.
I probably think we're a little bit heavy in midfield now. I wouldn't say that's really our priority. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, but I don't think it's our priority, Harrison, to bring another midfielder in when we probably need an attacking midfielder more than anything.
I mean, we love him. He's been a great servant for our club, but at the same time, we need to. Do we need to be looking forward? Do we really need to go and rescue James Ward-Prowse's career? I mean, he's played for West Ham tonight, so if the rumours are true, maybe they're just trying to showcase him again, like we've done with Buttercup. But it's difficult. He would do a job for us. There's no denying it. I mean, a lot of fans call him say that he only plays football sideways, but he has a lot of quality that he could bring to the team. But at the same time, we're overloaded in the midfield now, especially those two positions. The attacking midfield is the only place where we look. Are we gonna actually push for something in that department, especially now that Alcaraz is out the door? So that would be my area of thing. If we're going to go for a midfielder, it needs to be attacking midfielder. We don't need another holding or ball controlling midfielder.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Record numbers in the live now. Thank you very much. There's more and more people tuning in, Harrison, all the time. I don't think you can see the numbers on your screen, but we're around about 117 watching us live. We are discussing this evening Southampton's game tonight down at Cardiff. That win in the Carabao Cup. Southampton take on Everton in the next round, and the away day at Goodison Park. And we're also looking at the final few days of the transfer window, and that news that was brought to us this evening that Aaron Ramsdale is set to travel to Southampton tomorrow to have a medical. Give us your reaction in the comments box below. Give us your thoughts to that potential signing, which it will happen, of Aaron Ramsdale, unless something drastically goes wrong, which I don't think it will do. Very good question, Ben. Tall Paul wasn't in the squad tonight, Harrison, was he? No doubt. Paul Onuachu will leave Southampton this summer. He has to go, I would think, now.
I mean, they're running out of time. I mean, I know that a lot of other windows are open, and obviously it doesn't look like any Premier League clubs obviously going to come in for him. But I know that other windows have a bit more time to go and sign him. But if we want that cash flow to try and get another striker, which it looks like the club do want to get, ideally we need to get him out. We need to get a deal signed before Friday, so that we can use that money to actually put towards trying to get another striker.
Very good question, Dan. It was one that I brought up on Total Saints podcast on Sunday. We were talking about players coming in, and nobody mentioned about potential outgoings. And this is one that does concern me a little bit, as Kyle Walker-Peters. He's been our best player in the first two games for me. The only player to register a shot on target on Saturday against Nottingham Forest. He was outstanding, playing in the left-back role in both games, Harrison, I thought, so far. I think we're at the stage of the window now where we can't really afford to let him go. But Russell Martin said today he won't make that decision. It will be out of his hands. He will have a say, he will have his view on it.
Yeah, that was.
But he's in the final year of his contract. If somebody comes in the next couple of days, I think they have a big problem on their hands with Carl Walker-Peters, because I just don't see anybody anywhere near good enough to replace him in the squad right now.
Yeah, I mean, even as good as Seguara's looked and how promising he's looked, I mean, we all know the quality that Carl Walker-Peters brings to our team. He is the shining star of our team.
Yeah,
he is almost too good for us in a lot of ways. And he stayed with us last season and helped to fight us get up. So, you know, if he goes, we can't really begrudge him. But I completely agree. He will be a massive loss for us. But it's hard to really know with Russell Martin what's actually true and what's not true. I mean, some days he says that, you know, he's best friends with this, he's best friends with this agent. This deal's never going to go. And then Clark goes literally the day after.
Yeah.
And then we have the other one about Adams, where he's on about, I've spoken to Adams. Adam isn't near a deal at all. And then literally the next day it's announced that he's off to Italy. He talks a lot of waffle, doesn't he, Russell Martin? Sometimes it's difficult to know what is true and what isn't true. And he seems to think that there isn't anyone in for Carl Walker-Peters at the moment.
I think there will be. I think there will be.
I have this horrible feeling that someone might go in for him.
Of course there will. There'll be somebody in the final few days that will make silly offers, because he is in the final year of his contract. I think if someone comes in for a bid, I wouldn't be surprised to see them sell him. I think we're in for a busy couple of days, Saints fans. Stay tuned to my channel. Make sure you go give me a follow on TikTok as well, @footballmartin_. I'll be bringing little shorts on there all the time of any updates. Right. Somebody else said about Armel Bella-Kotchap. A lot of people joining the live now. There's still around about 120 of you watching live. A lot of people talking about Armel Bella-Kotchap. Well, Russell Martin has been speaking to the press after tonight's game down at Cardiff. And Alfie House tweeted a short while ago that Russell Martin left the exit door open for Armel Bella-Kotchap despite his return today, as he is their 6th choice centre-back. I thought he did great when he came on, said Russell, but hopefully he's shown the world that he's fine, he's fit, and he's ready to play. So basically, they put him in the shop window tonight to showcase that he is fit and he is able to play football. I believe that was the only reason he played tonight, in my opinion. I might be totally wrong, Harrison, but a lot of people asking about Armel Bella-Kotchap. Some absolute outcries across X this evening. Cannot believe that he's our 6th choice. Cannot believe that he's not starting. A lot of players absolutely fuming over on X tonight. This evening.
I mean, he's clearly not our 6th choice. If he's fit and he wants to stay, he'll fight for that place. If he can change his attitude, he'll fight for that, and he'll probably make the starting 11. He's got a lot of quality to give. It sounds like him and Russell Martin do not get on. And it sounds like Russell Martin is trying to do everything he can to get him out the door with all this sort of, as you said, smoke and mirrors around him.
Yeah, no, I think that's what's going on here. I expect him to leave next couple of days.
Mark makes an interesting point about building long-term.
Yeah, no, he does. I think we're building long-term. I believe that Russell Martin has been told, if we get relegated, don't worry, job's safe, smash the Championship and come back up, and our younger players will be more mature. No, I think he's probably right. He makes a very good point, actually. You look at the signing of Archers, Fernandez, and the business that we've done, it may be leaning towards that, isn't it, really? No, Taylor, the left back. Probably not a Premier League left back, let's be honest. Charlie Taylor, I don't think he was outstanding tonight by any stretch of the imagination. Carl Walker-Peters has been playing at left back for a reason, in my opinion. He's playing his best 2 fullbacks. He knows that Carl can play left back. That's why he's done it. For me, he's just playing his best 2 left backs. I might be totally wrong in saying that. And that's probably why Charlie Taylor's not played.
Yeah, I agree. I think Charlie Taylor looked quite poor at times tonight. Manning always has a mistake in him. He has a lot of quality going forward. He's got a very good whipped-in ball. He's got a very good cross, but he's always got a mistake in him. I think you're completely right. I think now that Peru has obviously left, and we haven't really had other choices apart from to play Carl Walker-Peters on the left, and we know he can do a job there. It's obviously not his natural position. He excels at right back. And he sort of does a very good job at left back. So I think, I completely agree with that. And the building the comment about building a team sort of to come back up from the Championship if we go down, I agree with that, but because a lot of the press conferences have been about Russell Martin saying, "Oh, we're building for the future. We're building a sustainable football club. We're building." They've been around this theme. We went to the fans forum together, and they were saying very similar things. We're not going to bankrupt our club. We're building for the future. We're getting young players. But at the same time, if that is their mentality they've got, that we're going to go back down and we're going to come back up again, they could have made a couple of different signings. I mean, I think Clark's the one that stands out for me. If you think you're going to go down, if you've got Clark and Armstrong in your side, you come straight back up again. They're two quality players in the Championship. So it's a bit difficult. I don't think the board know what they're doing. Sometimes it does feel like our buying has been very sporadic. They bought in players that I didn't think we need strengthening, and then they've bought in players that we're not sure have the quality yet. So we've bought in Archer and we've bought in Diaz. And Diaz in pre-season, I thought he looked very lively, looked very good. And we've sort of seen him the first two Premier League games, and he's missed an open goal against Newcastle with his header. And he looked slightly unfit against Forest. He just didn't look like he could give it a real go. It'd be interesting to see what other people think, but that's sort of my opinion on it. Goal scorer needed, yeah. It's definite a goal scorer needed.
Yeah. So this is from Alfie House. I'm just going to put it on the bottom of your screen. It's going to scroll across now because Alfie House has been speaking to Russell Martin, and Russell Martin has told Alfie that Arsenal's Aaron Ramsdale will be a fantastic addition, but he's saying no more until it's done after the Justin Balo collapse. Big smile on Russell Martin's face this evening, said Alfie House. He'd be delighted to be signing the goalkeeper with the calibre of Aaron Ramsdale. And England number 2, somebody that's highly rated by the England coaching staff as well. Right, let's get involved. Get your comments on the screen as well. Right, what did someone say? I have a feeling this Ramsdale transfer blocks another, assuming we weren't originally planning on spending this much on the goalie, but I'll take it all day long. Good, very good point, Chris. I wonder how much more is going to be available now. So you wonder if the final bits of business could be loan deals. There's still the Ryan Fraser was being spoke about a couple of days ago, that they feel that still could happen before Friday, that Ryan Fraser still could come in to Southampton. Would you take him right now, Harrison, Ryan Fraser, in the current squad, how things are? Or would you rather see us go and look at other targets?
I mean, the budget's getting tight. There's a comment there about profit and sustainability rules, and maybe I've been a bit too harsh on the board, but we've spent a lot of money. We have spent a lot of money. So to say that they're worried about profit and sustainability rules, we obviously are worried about that, but we've also spent a lot of money. And I'm just questioning whether we've spent money in the right areas. We need to get an out-and-out striker. We love Fraser. He was my favourite player last season. I loved watching him live. He was so good to watch, some of the runs he would make. But I don't think he's Premier League level. And it is difficult to go and spend the money on him when we're desperate for a centre forward, and all of the fans think we're desperate for a proper striker that can hold up the ball for us. Do we need to be wasting our money in that department, especially if we're not going to get rid of Adozi? We've got Sulemana that's coming back from injury. He can still, give it a run out.
There's quite a good point being tweeted by Adam Blackmore, actually. He said, Ramsdale in, Alcaraz out for a similar fee, almost like a swap when you look at it like that. He said, it's a good bit of business for Saints when everything gets over the line. Ramsdale's arrival will give Southampton's squad a good boost. I still think Ryan Fraser could return by Friday too if the wind blows right. So Adam Blackmore talking about this Ryan Fraser deal as well. I still think it might happen, unfortunately, for some people, because I don't think everybody wants him. But yeah, I do think it could happen. If Adam Blackmore's sharing that, he's usually quite in the know. So Fraser, not a Premiership player. He's played at the Premier League level. I don't think he's not a Premier League player. I think he is. And he's probably
he's
better
a lot older.
than what we got.
He's a lot older than he was, though.
Yeah. Another one there from Hayden Fox. He says he loves him. Massive Ryan Fraser fan. 120 of you watching the live stream. such a nicer place to come and do live streaming. I used to do a lot on TikTok and it would just be full of trolls. And in here, it's a really nice environment to get and do a live stream. Thank you for Harrison for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, Harrison. We'll do another 10 minutes or so before we wrap things up this Wednesday evening. Mike's in the chat, a good friend of mine. We've got to know each other throughout the years from watching football. Mike's a great guy. Ryan Fraser, no, not good enough. Are we gambling on Ross Stewart? Good question,
it does feel Dan. That way.
Yeah, it does feel that way. I believe he could be back within the next 2 weeks. So after the next international break, he could be back. Any truth in the Brazilian striker? Yes, I believe there is truth in it, but I'm not sure how close it is. I thought it was a little way away, that one. They were keen. I've seen some of his clips. I've seen some good clips, but I've seen some horrific clips as well. So I don't know loads about him. Love watching these live streams, says Zach. Thank you. Yeah, it's Yuri.
It's
Yuri. Can't think of his surname now, but I know who they're on about.
It's difficult, isn't it, Martin? We obviously, as you said, you've noticed they're like getting Alcaraz out and getting Ramsdale in for similar money. We need. I feel that we might need another centre forward option. I think a lot of fans feel that way. Do you go and get a Brazilian striker that no one's heard of?
Yeah.
For £15 million, or do you go and try and get someone that is, more known at this level? I think that a lot of the difficulty is what is out there at this level. It seems all the proper centre forwards are taken up. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? I can see a lot of people agreeing with me with Fraser. We need a left wing and a lone striker. Yeah, I could agree with that. There definitely needs to. We could do with something on the left wing, couldn't we? But I think in order for that to happen, we need to get rid of Dozie and maybe loan out Sulemana in order to bring those in.
Yeah, Sulemana is another player that should be back and evolved any day soon. I think he's back on the grass. So whether he plays any part, I don't know. I still think he was a player we would have probably tried to offload if we could have done. We need a left wing and a strike. Yeah, I would love to see him. Abraham, that's a good point by Gary, actually. Where is he at the moment? Is he in Italy still? I think he is. I need to double check where he is. But yeah, I agree. Brazilian striker, we're talking about here with Chris. The Brazilian striker was the link when we were getting Bilo in relatively cheap. I think the Ramsdale deal kills that one. Yeah, Chris speaking a lot of sense in the chat again as well. Can't wait to see how they announce Aaron Ramsdale tomorrow. If it is tomorrow, I think it will probably be tomorrow. Be interesting to see what they do. I love their little announcements. Hagrid costume, a lot of people were saying would be really funny. He was dressed as Hagrid, wasn't he, in the crowd? He's at Roma. Abraham, by the way, they're saying he's at Roma.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone else talking about Adozie. I've actually got some of his statistics for you, actually, because I'm going through X now, and the last thing that just popped up were from Saints statistics. This one, Samuel Adozie's performance for Southampton in numbers: played 90 minutes. He had none out of 4 successful dribbles this evening. Accurate crosses, none out of 2. Depossessed 2 times, touches 38, fouls 1, tackles he won 4 of 4, 100%. Well done. Duels won 5 out of 11, 45%, and chances created just the 1. So that was a little bit more on Sam Adozie's performance. That coming good because I was just flicking through Twitter as that popped up. Adozie was very good until the injury at Norwich. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I love Saints statistics. My goat. It's a good account to follow, actually. I think it's run by someone quite young as well, actually. But it is a really good account to follow, actually. Harrison, this has been a great live. We've still got 123 people watching us, which is absolutely crazy. What's it now? It's 10 past 11 on a Wednesday night. Deadline day on Friday. Harrison, you're around on Friday. You're going to join us for some of the deadline day show on Friday.
Hopefully playing football in the evening, but hopefully to pop along.
Make sure you guys tune in on Friday night, 9 p.m. onwards. I'll be live with guests. So there'll definitely be 2 of us hosting, and we will bring guests in throughout the night. I think Ethan from SFC Vlogs is around, so he's looking forward to coming along as well. I take a point v Brentford. We're going to preview that tomorrow. So yeah, Brentford is probably the final bit to touch upon this evening. Really, is the Brentford game at the weekend. I'm going to do a preview video with a Brentford fan tomorrow, looking ahead to this one as well. So I'll get the lowdown on Brentford. We had a little chat on Total Saints with a Brentford fan on Sunday. They're quite looking forward to playing us. They're relishing the chance. Ivan Toney, though, Harrison, could be out the door, though, by then. He's not featured anyway for Brentford so far.
Yeah, it sounds like their fans can't wait to get him out the door. He's become a bit of a sort of toxic, created a toxic environment with kicking up all the fuss that he has. And then obviously the ban that he got, not being able to play for them for so long. And the fact that, last season they still started to get dragged into that relegation battle. I don't think they're too happy with them at all. So I think they're kind of like good riddance.
Yeah, no, I think they're keen to get rid of him now. There was talk of Chelsea going in for him yesterday. They just seem to buy anyone, don't they, Chelsea? But there was talk of Chelsea signing him. Thank you all for the lovely comments, by the way, that are coming in. Really, really kind of you. Really, really nice of you, Joe. That means the world to me. Thank you very much. You're a legend, Martin. Love your channel. Really, really appreciate it. Put a lot of effort, a lot of time into this. It's been a year in the making, really. So I'm going to keep it coming. It's great when you can get good guests like Harrison on board, because it makes it so easy when you're talking to someone that's as passionate as you and you can bounce off one another. It does make it a lot easier. Mark said, regards to Tony, will go to Saudi. He needs to pay off his gambling debts, allegedly. Yeah, there are rumours about that, allegedly. Are we permanently signing or loaning Ramsdale? We're signing him. It's not a loan. We are signing him, Alfie Downer. He's a regular on the channel. But yeah, looking forward to the game at Brentford, Harrison. I think few players have put themselves right on the verge of probably breaking into the first 11 at the weekend. Be interesting to see what Russell does come the weekend. Do you expect Ramsdale to go straight into the side? If Aaron completes his move, which I believe he will, he'd go straight into the 11 Saturday, wouldn't he? There'd be no point spending this money if you're not going to play him. You could throw him straight inside, wouldn't you?
He's good enough. It all depends how he looks in training on Friday, doesn't it? I mean, we've only got to go to London, so I imagine they'll travel on the day, so there won't be any travelling the day before. So I imagine if he has his medical Thursday, he might be able to get some gloves on Thursday afternoon and Friday for their training session. It would all depend what Ross and Martin wants to do. He might not rush him in. Personally, for me, I mean, if he comes in and he's not quite ready and he makes a mistake, we're used to goalkeepers making a mistake, so it can't be much worse than what we've got, can it?
I think if Justin Barlow were coming, I don't think he would have started. I think McCarthy actually was probably man of the match at the weekend, probably, other than Kyle Walker-Peters. If it wasn't for Alex McCarthy on Saturday, we would have probably let a few more goals in, because we were not good. He made a lot of saves, and he's a busy man. Obviously, he had that massive mistake at Newcastle, so he's really cost us a point already. So I think he trains his goalkeeper. I think he goes back with the back four. I think playing from the stream I did on the Total Saints podcast, from what they're from the guest from Brentford, from what he said, he thought that playing with a three, like a 5 and a 3 centre backs, or a 5, however you want to call it, he said it'd play into their hands.
I agree.
I don't think he'd play that way. I think he'd go with a flat 4. It's just what personnel changes, Harrison, in that back in that back 4. A lot. Alfie House was quite spoken on it. I thought that Harwood Bellis had a really rough game on the weekend. I don't think he's had two really poor performances. Great player, love him, but a lot of people saying he might drop him the weekend. There's a bit of thought that he might not start. Someone has to drop out, don't they? If he's gonna shuffle the pack, like he could do, he's probably gonna have to go with a flat 4, which means one of the centre backs is gonna have to drop out. I don't see it being Jack Stevens personally at the moment. I don't think he's a scapegoat. I know he is, but you guys get in the comments boxes, wow. But I'm not convinced he'd drop Jack Stevens at the weekend. Are you, Harrison?
It's difficult, isn't it? I don't think he'll drop him. I could see Harwood Bellis getting dropped, which is a real shame, just off that performance for Forest. One bad performance doesn't make a man. But I agree with you that Stevens does get a lot of harsh criticism. I think my phone is about to die. But yeah, it gets a lot of harsh criticism. And yeah, I can understand why a lot of fans would want him dropped out of the four of them, because I think Table Harlebertus looks like he's got a really bright future, and we just want to keep on playing him. I would have liked to have started Archer personally this game, but he's played him the whole game against Cardiff.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what he does with him. Good day from Brisbane. Southampton Australian supporters are excited about Ramsdale news. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Australia. I really, really appreciate it. I think Harrison's phone has now died by the looks of it, so it is just me. I'm coming to the end of the live stream now, but thank you all for tuning in. It's been an absolute blast this Wednesday evening. Record numbers in the live, so thank you all very, very much for tuning in. There was one comment that I wanted to pop up on the screen, actually. Danny Ings' legs have gone, according to West Ham sources, because somebody else had mentioned about Danny Ings coming in. I don't see that one happening. Very unlikely. Zach says, thank you, Martin and Harrison. Great stream as always. Fantastic channel. Keep up the good work, says Dan. Thank you very much indeed. I really do appreciate it. Rachel, you've been here for the whole live as well. Nice one, Martin. Really appreciate your kind comments. Thank you very much. Hayden, thank you. Right, I will be back. Look out for a video on the channel tomorrow, which will drop around tea time tomorrow. It will be with a Brentford fan, where we'll be looking ahead to the Brentford side of things to get a little bit of a lowdown, a little bit of an insight into Brentford and what we can expect as Southampton fans at the weekend. And then I'll be back again with another transfer show tomorrow evening around 9 p.m. And I'll be back again on Friday with a deadline day special. So there's loads of people from Australia tuning in. This is amazing. Watching from Australia, keep up these great streams going, mate. Yeah, I will keep them coming. If you're not subscribed to the channel, mate, please, please, please do. Loads of unbelievable content coming your way this evening from the Football Martin channel. Guys, it's been a blast. Thank you very, very much indeed. And I'll see you all again tomorrow.